Hello and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. My name is Joris and today I am here with a monthly update of our ETF portfolio. And as you can see, our value went up once again and now it is 63,477.55 Swiss francs. We are really happy about that, but we are even happier about the fact that our future yearly dividend went up with 72 Swiss francs per year. And I also like seeing the number 72 because Stefan Everts was driving in the motocross when I was younger with the number 72. So yeah, it's a bit nostalgia to see the number 72. And yeah, now his son is driving around with 72, and in the MotoGP you can see 72 as well because Bezzecchi is riding with the number 72 in the MotoGP. But enough about that, let's go on with the wrap up for March 2025. And as always, I'm going to mention the dividends that we received, then what we bought in March, and actually it's the same as I'm going to buy in April. So in April, I'm also going to buy GLDV and LDG because I still need to bump up the percentages of those two ETFs in our portfolio. Then the value of our ETF portfolio, then the predicted future yearly dividends of our portfolio and the dividends to be received in April. And finally, then the final overview for this wrap up. And yeah, as always, here is the dividend that we received from XYLF. And maybe I should change the title of this slide because every month it's the same. It's a monthly paying dividend ETF, but in fact, it's not a dividend ETF, it's an income ETF because it pays out 95% of its dividend, if you can call it that. So it's dividend between parentheses. It's actually more the premiums that it receives from the covered calls that it sells. And like this, I don't like to call it a dividend ETF anymore because there's a lot of confusion about it. And in that regard, I don't consider XYLF, the covered call ETF, as a dividend trap because the dividend that it pays out, it's only 5% of the total amount that it pays out. It pays out more, yeah, the income from the covered calls that it sells. So in that regard, I will try in the future to call XYLF an income ETF and not a dividend ETF anymore. But we received for the 125 shares, so the first time that it's the whole 125 shares, because I bought more last month, and the dividend per share was a little bit more than $10 per share. So in total, we received $13.05. And with the conversion rate down here, you can see that that was equal to 11.56 Swiss francs. Then the dividend that we received from our EMHD ETF, from Invesco, the emerging market ETF, for the 21 shares that we hold, because yeah, it was last month, it was the first time that we could buy EMHD with all the dollars that we collected over the past 1 year and 2 months, I thought it was. So in total, we got 4.47 US dollar. That's not a lot, but it contributes to the $500 that we need to collect in order to be able to buy again around 20 shares of EMHD. So yeah, it's 100, almost 100 of what we need to buy the ETF again. So I'm not complaining at all about that. And that's just the reality. When you buy for the first time an ETF, the dividend that you will receive is going to be small. And yeah, that's why I make these videos, so that all the people can see that it starts with baby steps and then it grows and grows and grows. I'm also working on another video that shows this, and yeah, it's taking a bit longer than I anticipated because I wanted to bring it out this weekend, but with the fact that we moved from Belgium to Switzerland, it's quite difficult to reconstitute the past of our ETF portfolio. So yeah, it's not that easy, but I promise it will come, that video. Then we have the dividend from LDEG. So 249 shares that gave us the whopping 2.87 euro cents. So not a big dividend, but it's going to come from LDG. There are 3 smaller quarters and then 1 big quarter, and the big quarter is coming closer and closer. So in total, only 7.15 euros from this ETF, and in Swiss francs that corresponds to 6.83 Swiss francs. And then FLXD, there we received for the 166 shares that we hold from FLXD, we received 0.1515 euros. So in total 25.15 euros, and that corresponds to 24.07 Swiss francs. And then we bought GLDV. That was today, of course, because on the 25th in Switzerland, most of the time, in general, your wage is paid around 3 o'clock in the morning. So when I wake up, the first thing that I do is transfer the 900 Swiss francs to our Swissquote account. Actually 1200, because we also invest 300 Swiss francs for our children. So in that regard, I was able to buy 15 shares of GLDV at a price of 29.83 Swiss francs. And in fact, that's not that huge difference with the previous time that I bought GLDV. Then it was 29.815 Swiss francs. So it's more or less the same amount that I invested now in GLDV, because I also think that then the commission was a bit higher. So again, I think Swissquote changed the transaction fees, but because now it's only 5.65 Swiss francs in transaction fees. So that's really nice to see that the costs on Swissquote are still dropping. Then we also bought LDEG. We bought 33 pieces for 13.388 Swiss francs. And if you remember last month, then it was 12 and a bit Swiss francs. So this one shot up quite big time. So the European stocks are really performing exceptionally well. And in total, we invested 447.45 Swiss francs into LDEG. So now our ETF portfolio looks like this. So GLDV with 15 shares extra, now we have 198. The price went down. So just like VHYL, the only exception of the world ETFs that we hold is SDGPEX. That one went up with 10 cents. And also the exchange rate went up, because the previous time it was 0.938 Swiss francs for 1 euro. So in that regard, here, because we have a huge amount invested in SDGPX, the total Swiss francs of SDGPX went up also with a nice amount. GLDV, because we bought 15 pieces extra, we also have it in green because it's a higher amount than the previous time. But if we hadn't bought the 15 pieces, it would be in red, just like VHYL. Then LDG, 33 pieces extra. Now it is 5% of our portfolio. It still needs to go up to 10%, so still a long way to go. GLDV is now 10% of our portfolio, and that one needs to go up to 25%, so also still a long way to go. And that's why I'm going to buy more of those two next month. And then we have FLXD, that performed really exceptionally well this past month. So it gave a dividend of 15 cents and a bit, and yeah, it moved up almost 1 euro in the past month. So nothing to complain about that at all. It moved up with 700 Swiss francs, I believe. No, I'm going to check that. Wait a bit. How much did it move up? It moved up 230 Swiss francs. So still not bad, but not as big as I was saying first. Then you have XYLF. That one really, yeah, struggled. The S&P 500 moved down with more than 5% in the past month, and that's clearly visible in the ETF. And also it paid out in the meantime two dividends, so or two times an income. So that really reflects itself in the price, and it's down with about 100 Swiss francs compared to last month. Then the EMHD, this one went up with about 5 Swiss francs, so not that big of a deal. But last month I bought it, and then 5 days later it was already down, and seeing it up now 5 Swiss francs and receiving a dividend from it as well, that's always nice. And the previous time it was 61,662.34 Swiss francs on the 26th of February. Now we bought 15 pieces of GLDV, 33 pieces of LDG, and in total that represents a net value added of 889.25, and our total worth is now, as I said on the first slide in the opening sentence, it's 63,477.55 Swiss francs. So that's up 1,815.21, but we need to deduct the amount that we invested into those two ETFs. So we have a positive return of 925.95 Swiss francs, which means plus 1.50%, which is really nice. And we also received 4 dividends. I said last month we are going to receive 5 dividends, but we are still waiting for the dividend of VHYL. That's going to come on the 2nd of April, and it's going to be $38.08. But that is for the next update. As I said way earlier, I think in the 3rd or 4th update of the ETF portfolio, where I estimated one dividend that was going to come from XYLF. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to go as it is, the $38.08. What amount it's going to be in Swiss francs, I don't care that much. I will include it next month. It's only a small difference after all. And the total worth on the 25th of March is as such even higher with the dividends from XYLF, so 11.56 Swiss francs, FLXD 24.07 Swiss francs, EMHD 3.95 Swiss francs, and LDG 6.83 Swiss francs. So in total, we have an increase of 972.36 Swiss francs in value for our portfolio, which means an increase of 1.58%. The total dollar amount on our Swiss quote account is now $18.33. So we are getting closer and closer again to the $500. It's going to take another 7-8 months to be able to buy EMHD again, but yeah, it's nice to see that it grows so fast now. And the total euro amount on the Swiss quote account is 33.33 euros, and that is going to go towards FLXD when next month we receive our dividend of SDGPX in euro. I'm going to be able to invest again in FLXD, so I'm certainly going to use those 33.33 euros next month. I forgot to mention, in fact, FLXD on the second slide of this video. So I'm definitely going to buy FLXD as well. And then the predicted future dividends. So here you can see GLDV and LDG. We have now more shares. So if you look at the total dividend to be received in Swiss francs, you can see a lot of green. Only XYLF is down in the red because the dividend went up with a few cents. Uh, actually, I think 0.20 cents. And the conversion rate moved down more. So if you calculate it new, it's actually down for a whole year, but that's totally normal. The the fact that the euro moved up compared to the Swiss francs more than compensated for that. And you can see a lot of the dividends that our ETFs are paying out are increasing. So all 5 of the ETFs that paid out or went ex-coupon because VHYL didn't pay out yet, but all 5 dividend ETFs except the Income ETF XYLF, all of them, all 5, increased their payout in the month of March. So that's really nice to see. And this also had an impact on the total Swiss francs that we can expect from our ETFs overall. And now we have a yearly future dividend prediction of 2,861.70 Swiss francs. So we even jumped the boat on 2,850 Swiss francs. So I was hoping to cross the marker of 2,800, and we even crossed the marker of 2,850 Swiss francs. And now the monthly dividend that we can expect is 238.47 Swiss francs. So almost 240. So when we reach that, we are getting closer and go closer to 250 Swiss francs. So that will be really nice, of course. And the dividends for April that we can expect. So first off, as always, XYLF. The ex-coupon date will be on the 3rd of April. The record date will be the next day, and then 1 week later, after the record date, they will pay out a certain amount, but it's not announced yet, so I can't give it to you yet. But SDGPX, it's one of the ETFs, although it's from iShares and the CHDVD, their iShares is always waiting to the last day to announce it. But for the SDGPX ETF, they are actually also always quite fast. So now they already announced it. So on the 15th of April is going to go ex coupon date. The record date and payable date is almost always on the same day for SDGPX. So be certain to buy it before the 15th, otherwise you will not be eligible to receive the dividend. And it's not financial advice to buy it, of course. It's just when you want to buy it and you did your due diligence, that you should be sure to buy it before. Or if you are in the opinion that you don't want to pay the taxes on the dividend, then don't bother and wait until the 15th and buy it after it goes ex-dividend. And the amount that it's going to pay out, it's 17.86 euro cents, and that's a half cent more than last year. So once again, an ETF is going to pay out more than last year. So if this is going to continue, it's going to look pretty good for the dividend increases for this year. And then the final slide of this video. So we invested 955 Swiss francs, so a little bit more than 900 Swiss francs. But you know, last month we invested just a little bit less than 900 Swiss francs, so we had a little bit left over to invest a little bit more today. and that's with costs. So on the other slide it was 895 or 890 and a bit Swiss francs, and that's without the costs. And yeah, I also deposited 200 Swiss francs on our U portfolio, and with that I bought one share of BKW. So more about that in my next video. And the future yearly dividends now is 2,861.70 Swiss francs. So up 72.09 Swiss francs compared to last month, and almost 240 Swiss francs per month. Last month, our portfolio value went up with 972.36 Swiss francs, so 1.58% increase. And our total portfolio worth is now 63,477.55 Swiss francs. And our dividend yield is 4.51%. Our yield on cost is 4.76%. But that's also with the dividends that we reinvested counted as costs, and I put that between parentheses because, yeah, you know what I mean with costs. It's just all the money that we invested already into the stock market. But if you don't count the dividend as actually new money, but as reinvested dividends, then the money that we put in ourselves has now a yield of 5.26%. And as I say always, that's just the compounding doing its thing, and that's the magic that is happening. And with that being said, I thank you for watching to this one. Please consider subscribing. Our subscriber total went up quite nice. So it's up with more than 40 subscribers this past month. So I'm really happy about that. So thank you all for subscribing. Hitting that like button helps the channel out enormously as well, because then this video is spread out to more people that like this kind of content. So do me a favor and hit that like button as well. The bell notification, that's not really necessary. That's up to you if you want to hit that, yes or no. And with that being said, thank you for watching to this one, and see you on the next one on my YouTube channel. Bye.